Welcome to your source for market research, news, insights, and commentary for the pharmaceutical, healthcare, biotech, and medical device industries. This is Pharma Market Research Video Report, and we're here with research news we bet you haven't heard about your industries. An 11-item checklist about data and research methods is now available to evaluate the quality and usefulness of observational research studies. Developers of this so-called Good Research for Comparative Effectiveness, or GRACE, are Quintiles and the National Pharmaceutical Council. GRACE separates observational studies that meet baseline quality criteria, and it's been tested by public and private collaborators in the Americas, Europe, Asia, and Africa. The Center for Medicare and Medicaid Studies, or CMS, is proposing changes to Medicare Part D that would remove automatic coverage of two drug classes. CMS Director Jonathan Bloom says the proposed changes will fend off rising drug costs from the introduction of expensive biologic therapies. He also said that increased competition and lower prices will result from removal of some drug coverage that he's proposing. But he also sees it inducing drug makers to negotiate to keep their prices on planned formularies. PhRMA, the pharmaceutical industry lobbying organization, criticized the proposal as restricting patient access, limiting beneficiary choice of affordable plans, and most important, I thought, quote, unlawfully interfering in a competitive, market-based program that is already working, end of quote. That last reference attacks CMS for attempting to bypass Medicare Part D prohibitions against federal government price negotiating with drug manufacturers. The FDA has begun the nation's first extensive generic testing program, but it's a $20 million effort that's focused on the 80% of prescription drug sales through generics. Generic testing has been an occasional FDA interest, but right now there are a dozen academic centers presently involved with FDA, and they are reviewing several different drug categories. The quality of drugs manufactured overseas, where most of these generics come from, is of increasing concern. The World Health Organization estimates 1 in 5 drugs manufactured in India, for instance, are fakes. Pharma plants in India ship $15 billion of meds annually, and some of the facilities there are described as world-class. However, 4 are not even allowed to send product to the U.S. The FDA would like India plants to meet its U.S. standards, which Indian authorities told the New York Times would mean shutting down some facilities. The Times also reported enforcement of regulations is weak in India, and the FDA has been spurned in its attempts to coordinate policing with local officials. By the way, concerns about Chinese drug production are right up there with India. Moving on, the third annual HIMSS Analytics Mobile Survey, quote, reflects mobile technology as a transformational tool, according to Senior Director David Collins. Respondents indicated the top benefit of mobile technologies is increased access to patient information and viewing data at a remote location. It's important to point out that many providers are still early in the adoption and implementation stage with mobile technologies. For instance, 69% of those in this study use a mobile device to view patient information, but only 36% of them use mobile to collect data at bedside. Also on the mobile health front, GfK is reporting the number of mobile-connected blood pressure monitors purchased in 2013 jumped 42% across the UK, Germany, France, and the Netherlands. Personal scales were up 88%. Next, MD Links introduced an international physician verification program that connects globally to physicians who use its MD Links program. Quote, as we move into countries where there is not a central database of physicians, we saw the need to clearly show which physicians are verified and which are not, explained M3 Global Research COO Craig Overpeck. Moving on, a Kaiser Family Foundation poll finds consumer shopping on the Affordable Healthcare website are more thrifty than the general public, meaning that more of them are picking plans based on price rather than their choice of doctors. McKinsey & Company in an earlier study showed 70% of the plans on the exchange are, quote, narrow or ultra-narrow, end of quote. Incumbent insurers are offering 3 times as many narrow plans now as they did in 2012, leading Avalere health consultant Dan Mendelson to observe that these plans will become a staple for businesses because of their low rates. HHS believes insurers may be required to expand the number of doctors and hospitals in their plans next year. Novartis International announced steps that it says extends its leadership in clinical trial data transparency. Researchers can now request access to patient-level data on new innovative medicines in the U.S. and EU through Novartis's Idea Point portal. Novartis is also posting summaries of clinical study reports of innovative medicines on its website, so it becomes the first pharmaco to publish summaries within 1 year of study completion. And finally, SAP has announced the first live deployment of its Medical Insights project, which is supposed to improve the accuracy of cancer diagnoses and ultimately patient outcomes by enabling integrated access to clinical information and analysis of complex data sets in real time. According to SAP, every instance of cancer is unique, with immense volume and variety of data processed in providing care to patients who have not yet responded to standard therapies. Manual tasking right now is the norm, but SAP, through its Medical Insights program, hopes to change that by pulling from many different sources, running advanced data analytics, and delivering results in real time. That's your Pharma Market Research Video Report. If you'd like to sponsor PMR Video Report, please email info@rflonline.com. We'll see you next week with our next report, and in the meantime, tell us what you think of it. Email rflbob@gmail.com.